Alright, it's your boy Jay Wright, Be Entertained Magazine, sitting with the man. You getting it popping right now, getting it in. If you don't know, FatBoi Beats, what's cracking, man?
Man, just trying to stay busy, man. You know, looking forward to another great year, and try to keep the fans getting what they used to and what they want. You know what I mean? Take it from infinity and beyond.
Definitely. You can hear the studio is popping right now. We behind the scenes with you at the studio where it all goes down. So kind of tell the readers and the viewers where you got to start with the music and all of that, man.
Started making music with my brothers and my cousins, and a group called Plies in '95, '97. We started booking out studio time, which was kind of, a lot of guys wasn't really doing that like that, you know what I mean? Like spending their own money and, buying 2-inch reels, which I got in the studio right there. I was spending, $250 a pop on 2-inch reels, and you're only gonna get 3 songs on 2-inch reels, you know what I mean, at a pop. So that's once those 3 songs is done, gotta buy another reel, book out another 8-hour block in the studio, so I moved back to Savannah, and Pure Pain Records had just opened the doors, and it's like 2000, and I started working with Camouflage, and I brought my group, Black Plague, which turned into Heartless Hustlers. I brought them over, and they signed Heartless Hustlers as a group, and Camouflage was just bubbling. He was probably the hottest thing in the Southeast, and we put out an independent album in 2000, a solo independent album with him that got a lot of reviews and drew a lot of attention from majors. And for the next album, we put out a record called Cut Friends, which was the first, my first major placement. It got Plies a deal with Universal, and the rest is history since then. On and popping.
Yes, sir. So, man, obviously you've been in music for a long time. So, kind of tell folks that's kind of wanting to follow in your footsteps with production. You know what I'm saying? Kind of the steps that you took to get big.
Man, work, and more work. You know what I mean? Well, first of all, I come from a musical family, so it wasn't just something that I really just picked up. My father is a musician. He teaches music. My grandmother, his mom is a singer. And my mom's whole side of the family, they're all singers and all. And I went to a school of the arts in high school in California, McAteer High. So, music was pretty much, and really, I didn't even really want to do music first. I was playing football and all, so really my first love was really, football.
Right.
You know what I mean? And music was just something I could do. You know what I mean? I never really took it serious like that. But through DJing, I became a DJ. Through DJing, that made me really pay attention to doing music, because rap was an outlet for young hood, youth coming up. That was a way that we could let out our frustrations and get a foot in this musical game. That was our voice. You know what I mean? So through DJing, instead of making everybody dance, and I wanted to make the records that made everybody dance. You know what I mean? So I would study, my favorite producers, Timbaland, Dr. Dre, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Manny Fresh, Organized Noise, and my method was I never really listened to the people that was the closest to me, like your homeboys, because sometimes you get a biased opinion from your homeboys, unless it's somebody that will really tell you the truth, like, yo, man, that's whack. You know what I mean? Like, if it's one of those, you want to keep one of those around. But what I did through DJing, I had an outlet through DJing where I could kind of play my music at the club and see how the crowd was reacting to this song that they'd never heard before, from a group that they never heard before. And if I saw people bobbing their heads and people coming up to me asking me, yo, who is that? You know what I mean? That was a true reaction. So that was my litmus test to know you know, where I was as far as within music, and plus, you know, listening to radio, I would compare my music to what I heard on radio. If my music wasn't sounding as good as what it sounded like on the radio, I wasn't ready. You know what I mean? So, you know, I was really strict on myself. Like I still am today my biggest critic. You know, like I can always do better. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying different ways. You know what I mean? So that was you know, for all young producers out there, you know, hard work and dedication is really the only way it's gonna happen. You know, if you're trying to do this strictly for the money, you know what I mean, you'll be here for a minute, you might catch one, but then you'll fade out, because if there's no love, general love involved with this whole process, then it probably really won't last that long. Like, you got the Russian record, that's because he loved playing football. He didn't just, you know, make all the money and he was content. He loved playing football. It's the reason why Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player. You know, he was only the highest paid player one time. You know what I mean? Even though he was making all the money from all his endorsements, he genuinely loved the game of basketball. He loved basketball. So if you love what you do, you're going to get the money.
Yes, sir. And while you're on a quick lesson, you know, we got to go into with everything good comes some bad joints. So kind of tell the people how the game can go and how you can run into them people that are still your claim to fame, and that man that put their name and stamp it. You know, I'm all over Twitter. You already know. So we know how it goes down, man. So
that's one thing that you gotta you know, you might run into those type of situations in this business, because a lot of times it's how you're gonna get yourself in. So sometimes you might get yourself in a situation where you become an in-house producer for somebody or a ghost producer for somebody, and you know, being signed to another producer, of course that producer that you're signed to is going to stamp their name on the product. You know what I mean? Which is only right, because if you wasn't with this producer, how would you even have the opportunities that you're getting?
Right.
You know what I mean? So on one sense, it's a good move, because you do have opportunities to get in rooms with other big artists and all that, and have the opportunity to let a big artist see you making a track. If you're somebody's ghost producer, they'll remember that, like, yo, that kid is right there. I saw him make the beat. Wow, he really didn't make that beat. He made that beat. You know what I mean? So, and it's kind of part of the business. You know, Timbaland had Danger. A lot of people were thinking Danger was Timbaland was doing a lot of tracks, but really he had he had Danger under his wing. You know, Polo has producers sign him. Now, what will happen is you might make the track, and then the producer might kick it upstairs to him and retweak it and make it bigger. You know what I mean? Because he does know, his ear is tuned to a lot of different things, and he can craft a sound industry standard, you know, where it can move, you know, units. Because a lot of times, you know, you just hear a melody, that's a good melody. Now let me grab that and put my thing on it and make it big. You know what I mean? So it can be a good thing, and if you're somebody who's just ready to have your name on things, then I'd say, you know, try to stay out of that situation. But you're really the best way to get in from that standpoint of it is to make your own artist. You know what I mean? If you have your own artist and you blow him up, then you never have to go the ghost producer route, you know, to get